Hello and welcome, my friends. So I all my best wishes to the people who got admission in the DMLT, BMLT, BSMLT, BVOC MLT or BMLS courses, and also best wishes who are aspirating for took admission in these courses. And apart from that, I have a huge audience who are much interested in such videos which depicts the formats of the medical labs. They are not directly involved with medical labs, but they have interest. So all of these people, all of my students, you welcome in this video. In this video, I am going to depict about the types of tests. So types of tests, which types of tests, and on what basis these tests are going to learn. In the early video, I have depicted about the values which evolved from our tests, the values, the description, and how it what are the different types of values are there. I would like to give it in a table or in a chart format. So because humans have many types of memories, there is photo memory, audio memory, like that. So I would like to utilize your photo memory so you can easily remember all these things in just a photo, just a snapshot. Just like in a snapshot, you can recall all the things in a one photo frame. So my friends, again I am going to request you that you should note down this board in your copy and try to understand after hearing this video in full. Then you try to understand by yourself that what I have told. So my friends, I am your Sandeep sir and you are watching MLT tutorial by Sandeep sir. So who are new in this channel, kindly subscribe this channel and share this video. So friends, next we are going to start the clinical laboratory test and types of tests. The types of tests on the basis of, the division is on the basis of what are the basis? The basis are the methodology, that is the principle of the tests, the tangibility or proximity of a test, the magnitude of all the tests, and the application or utilization of the tests. Now, the methodology. So, in the history of the medical laboratory science, the first human was tried to understand by using only a hand lens. After that, this hand lens is evolved and developed in the form of today's microscope. So first of mankind was tried to understand about the cell structure, and then they want to find that the bacteria, which causes our diseases, and like that the study going developed, and this by testing with a microscope, by study with a microscope is called microscopy. So microscopy is our most primitive and most today also most authenticated methodology, that is the microscopy. The next is that the photometry. The majority of the tests, about 70 to 80% of the tests in our clinical labs are performed by the methodology of photometry, that is by using light a measurement is occurred. So for a measurement we use a particular wavelength of light. So the photometry also divided in many parts, like the colorimetry, that is the color, to determine the intensity of a color of a solution, we use the light. So again the colorimetry again divided into spectrophotometry and reflectance photometry. Now the turbidimetry, that is the turbidity means the haziness. So a solution's haziness we try to measure by using light. Coagulometry, that is formation of coagulation, formation of coagulum, in our serum or in our blood by using light. Again, light. Flame photometry for especially those who have studied the BSc level, all of you know that the burning of sodium like elements. So there is a flame is evolved and the flame is measured by light. The densitometry is obviously about the measurement of the density of a particular thing or component or a solution. Now fluorometry is related with the term fluorescent, that is illuminating. So fluorometry, in fluorometry, that is the luminometry, and the most modern technique is the chemiluminescence. The majority of the also many of the tests are doing by this type of chemiluminescence. So here you don't have to study much more, because all these machines are the automated system, but you should learn about that. Now the nephelometry is also like a light method where the light is deflected. So this type of nephelometry. Now AG and AB stands for antigen and antibody. So there are different type of AG and AB complex. Antigen and antibody complex is formed in our test series, like the agglutination is one of the technique. Then is the neutralization. Next is the precipitation, and next is the flocculation. These are the all includes in the AgAb complex. To formation of AgAb complex, there is the immunoturbidimetry. Also, we learned about this here. The turbidimetry, where antigen antibody is used, is immunoturbidimetry. Like nephelometry, where nephelometry, AgAb complex are used, that is immunonephelometry. Now the gel precipitation. Gel precipitation, again there are many techniques, that is like radial immune diffusion technique, double immune diffusion technique, and immunoelectrophoresis. Now the labeled AG or AB. Now we are going to label an antigen or an antibody like a bad boy or a good boy. So labeling by enzyme. Labeling, when we label the antigen or antibody, is called the ELISA technique, that is enzyme linked immune assorbent assay. So here we linked a label there with the antigen or the antibody with a enzyme. Now when we again label the antigen or the antibody with a radioactive element, that is the RIA, that is radio immune assay. That is the MIA is the microparticle immune assay. Here we again label the microparticles. FPIA, that is the fluorescent polarization immune assay. That is the RIA. This RIA is I, this RIA is E. Here is the radio energy annulation. Now the competitive protein binding methodology. These all are the labeled antigen antibody system. Now there is another technique is the blot technique. Blot technique also divided into 4 again technique, that is named as east, west, north and south. That is the eastern blot technique, western blot technique, northern blot technique and southern blot technique. Then like all of you must hear that the western blot technique is the most authenticated method in the test of HIV. Now the chromatography. Chrome stands for color and graphical representation. So chromatography, here is the word is the adsorption, not the not absorption. Here is adsorption, means adherence. Now the partition technique. Now ion exchange technique. Now the gel filtration. Again the gel filtration technique. There are different modes like paper gel filtration. TLC stands for thin liquid chromatography, column chromatography, gas chromatography, gas and liquid chromatography, and HPLC does means that high performance liquid chromatography. Now the number 8 is the DNA probe. The DNA probe is the PCR. That is the PCR is the polymerase chain reaction, and all of you must have in this coronavirus that the RT-PCR is reverse transcriptase polymerase chain reaction, and NAT technology. Corona test also somewhere is done by this technique, that is the nucleic acid amplification tests. Now the potentiometry, in the potentiometry, that is the pH meter for the measurement of pH, ion exchange electrodes, some of the components in our blood is in the form of inorganic, that is inorganic component or organic component, or some other component in the ionic form resides in our blood. So to measure the ions, we use these ion exchange electrodes. These are all compact machine and automated machine, so nothing you have to done much more. Gas electrodes, by using the gas electrodes we measure the different gases in our blood, the level of gases like nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide in our peripheral blood, arterial blood or venous blood, like that. Now number 10 is the osmometry, that is related with the term osmosis, and flow cytometry, very important, that is the by flow cytometry. Majority of the hematological tests are done nowadays, and by using this flow cytometry we minimize the time for the bacteriological culture system that is generally took the time limit of 24 hours to 74 hours, 2 hours, 1 to 3 days. Now using the flow cytometry process we can perform the test within 3 to 6 hours. Now the tangibility or the proximity. Now the tangibility, all of you must know that the tangent force is like that. If a force is working in this manner, the two forces are acting, there is a resultant force, the tangent force is acting in this manner. So the tangent is the main outcome of the test. So this in the tangibility or proximity, that is the specific test. There are only two categories: specific, either it is specific or non-specific. Let a patient is suffering from fever and doctor suspected that the physician suspected that the patient have a infection of dengue or dengue. So he advised the patient for the test of dengue. This is the specific test for the dengue. Now this is the specific test. Along with this test, doctor also advised him for total leukocyte count, differential leukocyte count, platelet count, total RBC count, because these tests are non-specific to dengue. But why doctor prescribed this test? Because these tests are non-specific, but these tests are depict the condition of the entire physiological condition of the patient, entire pathological and physiological condition of the patient. So dengue is the cause I evolved from the specific test. But to understand the body condition, that is the physiological and pathological body condition, the other blood cell condition, because the blood cells are the fighter cells. So to evaluate their conditions, we also perform some non-specific tests, because these tests are also done in case of malaria, also done in case of typhoid or any disease. So these are, it may be the test is specific or non-specific, but both have a tangibility in the diagnosis of a patient condition. Now the magnitude in the earlier video where I depict about the magnitude of the values, you are now much acquainted with that the magnitude of a test is that the test is mainly of three types. That is the qualitative test. That is qualitative test is the either it is a positive reaction or a negative reaction. The quantitative test is just evaluate the particular value which the component's particular value is evolved by the quantitative measurement. And the semi-quantitative measurement is to estimate a patient condition roughly to estimate a patient condition. This semi-quantitative test is also now validation, it has a validation in such our poor country, because in the rural area or in the small cities, maximum laboratories are performing this type of semi-quantitative tests, because there is the factor of money, the investing for the machines and for also the taxation to the patient. So these methods all are validated methods. Now the application and utilization. So in the books, this part is not in your book, you can't find this part. You only find this part, that is the diagnostic and prognostic. Diagnostic means diagnosis, prognostic means the prognosis or the progress of a condition. Let a patient appear to a physician with some problem, that is the loss of appetite and some pain in the stomach area and feeling weakness, feeling nausea or vomiting. So the doctor suspected and that the patient may have a disease of jaundice. Now for that purpose, doctor with some blood test advise the patient to do this blood test. This, after testing, the doctor find that he suspected is correct, that the patient is suffering from jaundice, and the patient got a higher level of bilirubin. Now doctor advised him for the plain food without masala or oils, and to rest in his home, to stay in home. So this is the diagnosis part. Now after that doctor also advised him that but you should test your blood in every 10 days or 15 days interval for up to 2 or 3 cycles. So doctor want to understand by this test that the patient is progressing good or there is a regression. The patient condition is going bad or going good. So this is the prognostic test. So when a patient like such prognostic test comes to in your laboratory, the prescription, there is the word, that is the FUC, it stands for follow-up case. So you can easily understand that the patient is already diagnosed, and this time the patient is for the patient tests are for the follow-up purpose. So you can find that the patient has already diagnosed. But this diagnosis and prognostic, all these are okay up to your books. But this is also make a pyramid like that, where the top is evidence-based treatment resides. Evidence-based treatment, which is an aspect of medico-legal problem. So if doctor has put all his opinions, that he find that his liver was enlarged and like that is symptoms, but these are not the evidence to before a court. So what shall be the evidence to the court? The court only authenticated the laboratory reports or the USG reports. These type of reports which are in the format of the other third party has done this test. So these are considered as the evidence of before in favor of the doctor or against the doctor. So many times we are telling that the doctors are written unnecessary tests, but doctors nowadays are under threatening of some patient parties for the purpose of the medico-legal aspects came into the relation between the patient and the doctors. But these are all a part of our life. So remember that our types of tests are based on the methodology, tangibility, magnitude and its application. In my next video we will going to discuss about how to how we proceed for a test interpretation. So again I give a format to you, again I give a photo memory to you. So until then, goodbye.